My name is Satish Kumar. I'm Editor Emeritus of Resurgence magazine. The full name is Resurgence and Ecologist magazine. And I became editor of this magazine in 1973. So this is my 50th anniversary of being involved with Resurgence magazine and Resurgence Trust. I'm also founder of Schumacher College. Schumacher College provides education of head, education of hands, education of heart. Head, heart, hands. More holistic education and also nature-centered education. So I have a two involvement, one with Resurgence Trust and other Schumacher College. I'm going to give a talk at Medicine Festival on radical love. This is my new book. And I'm bringing these two things together, radicalism and loving kindness. There are many radical activists who don't quite act out of love. And there are many people who live loving kindness, but they are not very active and not very radical in their action. I want to combine the two. I want to bring these two together. Those who are radical activists, I want them to practice loving kindness and act out of love and not out of anger, not out of frustration, not out of anxiety, and not out of a kind of frustration. So, and those who are loving kindness practitioners, I want them to be a bit more active and be more engaged in social transformation, in environmental sustainability, in regenerative culture, and all that. So activism and loving kindness coming together. That is my book, Radical Love. But also I want to speak about difference between moderate love and radical love. Of course, we need both. We need moderate love, which is every day. We love our friends, and we love our family, and we love our colleagues, and we love our neighbors, and we love people who we like, and we love people with whom we agree, and we expect them to love us back. That's a moderate love. But I want to also encourage people to practice radical love, which means loving without expectation, loving even those with whom you don't agree, even loving those who you don't like, and loving without expecting to be loved back. And through radical love, you work to transform together, transform yourself and transform your fellow human beings. So this is a kind of hard love, a more radical love. And so I'm going to talk about radical love in my talk at the Medicine Festival. To practice radical love, we also need to practice gratitude. And gratitude, first of all, to yourself, because you have to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, how are you going to love anybody else? And so you have to say, I'm grateful to have my body. I'm grateful to have my imagination. I'm grateful to have this gift of creativity, this gift of two hands that I can garden, I can build, I can make, I can write, I can create something. And so gratitude to yourself. And then gratitude to our ancestors who have left us so many wonderful gifts. And so arts, culture, music, poetry, philosophy, language, religion, so much gifts we have received. And so gratitude. And then radical activism is to create a new society and a new gifts for the future generations. Because what we have received from our ancestors, we have to give something back to our future generations. And therefore, radical love comes when you are acting out of love for future generations. Also, we need to have a gratitude to nature. Without air, we cannot live. Without earth and soil, there is no food, and nobody can survive without soil and the earth. And nobody can live without water, and nobody can live without warmth or fire and the light. And therefore we have to be grateful to earth, air, fire, water. So this gratitude is a loving kindness. And then we have to go out in the world and create something which is more regenerative, more sustainable. And we also have to protest against what is wrong in our society: consumerism, materialism, pollution of the environment, pollution of rivers and oceans, carbon emission in the atmosphere, creating climate change, global warming. All those things are happening. We have to stand up against these things and speak out. Speak truth to power. That's a radical activism. And so with gratitude and action, and then of course we have to protect what is good in the world. Beauty, nature, arts and crafts, small farms, small business, all these things are so wonderful. We have received them from our ancestors. We have to protect them. And we also, in radical love and radical activism, we have to build new things for our future generations. New schools, new colleges, new books, new poetry, new music, new kind of farming, new kind of gardening, organic agriculture, new kind of organic and a more natural architecture. So we have to build something new for the future generations. So this is a kind of daily practice of gratitude and action and protection and a building that we have to do in our lives. In the summertime, we have many beautiful, inspiring festivals. And these festivals bring people together, a kind of solidarity, kind of sharing of ideas, the sharing of friendship, making new friends, meeting old friends, and sharing with music, sharing with various kind of practices, yoga, meditation, and sharing our arts and crafts and ideas. And so these festivals are very, very important and very essential, almost like food for our minds and food for our consciousness. So I think in the summertime, people coming out of their homes and coming to the kind of natural world in the field or in the forest or surrounded by trees or by a river bank or by a lake, when you have those beautiful festivals and ceremonies, then it's a kind of bringing people together and building communities so that we are together. This world is made of relationships, and in this relationship we create new ways of being and new ways of living and new ways of building and creating. And so for me, these festivals are very, very important. And I went to a community festival of Russell Brand and his colleagues, and that was a wonderful experience. Then I went to Green Gathering, and that was also wonderful, and so many ecologically, environmentally, and a kind of nature-oriented people coming together to share their vision and their values and their ideas together. And now I'm at Medicine Festival, which has a kind of holistic approach to life, where soil, soul, and society, nature, spirituality, and human community come together, and we learn from our ancient wisdom, from the indigenous cultures, because indigenous culture has a lot to teach us, and indigenous cultures have sustained the world for millennia, and we can learn from them how to live in harmony with nature. So at Medicine Festival, this particular emphasis on learning from ancient wisdom, learning from indigenous cultures, learning from our ancestors and how they lived. And even now, people in Amazon, in Brazil, and in Peru, and in Australia, the Aboriginal people, and their arts and their song lines, they are so inspiring. We should not think that our indigenous people were primitive or backward or undeveloped and had no progress. They were amazingly advanced in their wisdom and in their cultures, and so we must not look down on them as savages and a kind of undeveloped cultures. They were tremendously evolved people, and therefore we need to learn from our indigenous cultures. And this is why I value Medicine Festival in particular, because here I'm reminded of our ancient and indigenous cultures.